so far in the chapter of biotechnology, principles and processes, we have started this chapter with the few introductory part, the historical background of biotechnology per se. Then we have started with the various steps that are involved in the biotechnology. We have started with the first step, that is isolation of the DNA, that is isolation of the genetic material using various lytic enzymes for plants, for animals, for fungal cells, right? Then after isolating the genetic material, we have re-digested it, that means we have used restriction endonuclease enzymes in order to digest that particular sample of the DNA or the genetic material per se. Afterwards, after re-digestion, we have separated and we have purified the DNA sample using agarose gel electrophoresis. Electrical method using the agarose gel as a matrix, and we have separated and purified the DNA sample. Apart from agarose gel electrophoresis, we have also seen PCR method for amplification of the gene of interest. After separation or this amplification, we have introduced a set of gene, that is the gene of interest, into a suitable vector. Let us say that the vector that we have used is PBr322 or a plasmid, right? Two types of vectors can be used in RNA technology, either plasmid or either bacteriophages. The most preferable vectors or the vehicles that are used in molecular biology are plasmids. Let us say we are using the normal PBr322. After introducing, ligating the gene of interest into the vector, that is plasmid, we have to insert this plasmid into the competent host cell. Host cell must be competent to accept that plasmid. That is now called as a recombinant plasmid, right? After introduction of this plasmids containing the specific gene of our interest, the desired gene, we have introduced this plasmid into a specific host. Let us say the host that we have used is an E. coli, a simple normal bacterium. Then afterwards, what we have done? We have selected recombinants from non-recombinants, that means transformed cell from non-transformed cell we have isolated or we have discriminated. Afterwards, if we found that few colonies are of the transformed cell and the few are of non-transformed cell, we are interested only and only in the transformed colonies. That is a colony where the recombinant cell is residing. So we have to take that colony, we have to culture it, and now we have to study how to isolate the foreign gene product. So isolating the foreign gene product. Again, go back to the simple all these steps. Say for example, we want to isolate insulin, a protein, a peptide hormone, which is used nowadays in the diabetes. So for isolating the foreign gene product, if we have introduced foreign gene product, foreign gene, which is coding for a particular protein, if all things go well, then they will produce a molecule, that is what we call it as a recombinant molecule. The product is called as a recombinant protein. So if the foreign gene, that is protein coding gene, if the protein coding gene is introduced or it is expressed in a host cell, they will produce a protein, and the protein is called as recombinant protein. That is recombinant protein. Now we know that certain colonies are of recombinant cells, that is the transformed cells, and these are the cells that are going to produce a recombinant protein or the recombinant product. In this case, let us say it is an insulin. Now the production has to be increased. So there are two methods: small scale production, that is the production that is carried out in the normal lab conditions, and the second is large scale production, that is carried out at the pharmaceutical level or the pharmaceutical industry level. For small scale production, what we have to do basically is we have to take the inoculum, and this inoculum has to be introduced in a reactors, and basically the reactors are laboratory grade reactors. We will discuss the reactors, its types, its mechanism in detail afterwards. So after introducing this inoculum, small amount of the colony of the transformed cell into a reactor, what we are going to obtain? We will obtain the recombinant protein. We can isolate using centrifugation method. The proteins or the recombinant molecule can be isolated using the centrifugation method. Small scale production is only applicable, say for example, if you want to produce a product for experimental purpose. Let us say we want to produce 10 liters of product. So the size of the product is very less. In that case, we can go for small scale production. For large scale production, that is, let us say industrial level. For industrial level production of product, we have to use certain devices which are called as bioreactors. Let us say here 10 liters product has to be produced. 1000 to 100 to 1000 liters of product can be produced when we are going for the large scale production. In both the cases, the device that is generally used in order to increase the production or the biomass production increasing, using reactors only. In small scale production, we generally use the laboratory grade reactors or the laboratory scale reactors. For large scale production, we use industrial level bioreactors, and the size of the product may be 100 to 1000 liters of product can be produced. Right? In large scale production, the system that is used, the methodology that is used is a continuous scale production. This word is very important in the answer. Continuous culture system. Continuous culture system methodology has to be used. Now, what is this continuous culture system methodology? Continuous culture system means vessel is there, that means this bioreactor is there in the industrial level. Now we are producing the product within this bioreactor. In continuous culture system, there is a point, there is an entry point which is called as inlet, through which we can introduce the media, fresh nutrient media and inoculum. So in the continuous culture medium, there has to be one inlet for addition of the fresh nutrient medium as well as inoculum, right? There has to be one outlet for the removal of waste materials, certain acidic compounds that are produced by the fermentation reaction or metabolism of the concerned bacterium. So there has to be one outlet. So through the inlet we can add the fresh nutrient media and inoculum. The reaction will take place within the bioreactors. From the outlet, the waste material will be discarded out. So there is a continuous flow of these media from inlet, entry to inlet and exit from the outlet takes place. So such method or mechanism is called as a continuous culture system. Right? Now, the next thing that we have to see is downstream processing. Downstream processing, or in many reference book it is just written as downstream. One more thing, in the continuous culture system, the biomass production is very high. Why? Because industrial level reactors, bioreactors are used. Size 100 to 1000 liters of product if you want to produce, go with the large scale production. Why? Because the biomass is more. If the biomass is more, yield will also be more. That means product quantity is more. Right? Now downstream processing. So downstream processing is a series of reactions, series of methods or processes that a particular product has to undergo before it is gone or before it goes for the marketing, that is for the sale in the market. So downstreaming or the downstream processing means all the processes to which a product is subjected, to which product is subjected before marketed in the market. Before selling, whatever changes that a particular product has to undergo, that is what we call it as downstreaming processing. And downstreaming processing, basically it is a kind of purification methods, right? So first of all, say for example, using the bioreactors, industrial scale or the large scale production, we have produced 1000 liters of product, but within the 1000 or 100 liters of product, our inoculum will be there, bacterial size will also increase, amount, multiplication rate of bacteria will be there, so large amount of bacterium will be there in the media, in that suspension of the solution. Media will also be there, and apart from this we also have our own product. So first of all, we have to isolate, we have to separate our product from bacterium as well as from the nutrient media, and the separation, we know it is done through centrifugation process. So separation of product using centrifugation. Since media lighter weight, it will come at the supernatant and the product can be isolated in the form of pellets, right? Then the next thing that we have to go is the purification of the product, right? Purification of product. You can use different techniques for product purification, and the most common techniques that are used is the electrophoresis techniques clubbed with this spectroscopic techniques like GCMS, gas chromatography mass spectroscopy, LCMS, liquid chromatography mass spectroscopic techniques you can use for your product purification. Then once the product is purified, the purified product has been obtained. In order to increase the longevity of the product, we add certain preservatives. So product formulation using preservatives. Using preservatives, the product formulation is done, right? And all these things are basically the part of the pharmacological aspect of any product which is released in the market for its final sale. All these are downstreaming methodology. Then quality control testing has to be done. Afterwards, if the product is a vaccine or any drug, then clinical trial has to be done. So after product formulation, say for example, if I added any preservative for longevity, then we have to go with the quality control testing. That means the product has to be QC approved. The product has to be QC approved. The pharmaceutical companies have this quality control analyst, quality control managers who check the quality of the desired product that is obtained using rDNA technology. After quality control testing, if everything is done or it is fine, then the clinical trials are done for drugs and vaccines. So once the quality control is tested, it can be sent out for marketing and for selling. This fifth step is done only when the product is, let's say for example, any drug or any vaccine. It has to be tested, clinical trials. So clinical trials in case of drugs and vaccine. Phase 1 trial, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 trials are also available up till now. So how to isolate the foreign gene product? Using small scale production we can go with the large scale production. Continuous culture system is involved in the large scale production, while for small scale production no such continuous culture is required, because we are limited, or we are limiting the product quantity. Say for example 12 liters product if we want to produce, so for 10 liter we can supply the nutrient media at once, right? Then downstream processing, basically they are nothing but the purification methods. For any product has to undergo downstream processing before it is sent out for sale in the market, right? First we have to separate the product. Say for example, if this is the reactor that we are using and this is the inlet, from here the outlet is there, okay? From outlet, when the tap is on, we will collect the liquid media only, and within that liquid culture, liquid solution or the suspension, what all are the things we have? We have the bacterium, we have the nutrient media, we have our desired product. We are interested only in our desired product, because we don't want media, we don't want any bacterium culture as of now. So we separate our product from these two things using simple technique of centrifugation, right? Media will come as supernatant and we can collect our product in the form of pellets. Later on we can store this pellets in any buffer or DRS double distilled water for further usage. We can purify our product using various techniques of chromatography clubbed with spectroscopic techniques in order to determine the weight of the product, mass, GCMS, LCMS. Product formulation using preservatives, if is there, then it has to be done. QC testing, that is quality control testing. Product has to be QC approved. Afterwards, if the product is a drug or a vaccine, it has to undergo clinical trials. Phase 1, 2, 3, 4 trials, and all the trials if are clear, then it can send out for the sale in the market. It will be available for the normal public. So this is all about the how to isolate the foreign gene product and downstreaming processing. In the next part, we will discuss about the bioreactors that are used in recombinant DNA technology.